everyone, and welcome back to Urban Conversations, Gifted Urban Conversations. This is another episode. We're building up on the foundation of reflective parenting. I'm your host, Grace, and yes, today we are still joined by Urban Gift, who is here in the building and ready to tackle a very interesting topic for today. We're talking about and focusing on strengthening parent-child relationships and guiding career development. I love this because when it comes to career, well, I'm in the front line. I'm a career person, the person who holds like different certifications in different areas. And so let's start by discussing about effective communication strategies, and also as we delve into the deeper context of our topic today.
Great. To begin with, you cannot not communicate.
Yes.
You cannot not communicate. So, as a parent, as an individual, don't think when you keep quiet, you are not communicating. Even silence is communication. And for a teenager, even tantrums and acting out is communication. And why is communication important? It's because language is the only gift that God gave to man, and of course the other beings like spiritual being angels and God have language.
Yeah.
All the other animals don't have language. They have what we call sounds. So the dog barks. A bark is just a sound. We may not know why is it barking or something. Probably it says danger, but we can't interpret meaning of the barking.
Yeah.
So we are grateful that God gave us language to communicate.
That's so true.
And language and communication is the basic of building relationship. So to just open up this conversation that there is no relationship, whether parent-teen, whether couple relationship, without communication. And I feel that that is the bedrock of today's conversation.
Yeah. Someone said that effective communication is the cornerstone of any relationship. And so even as we come to talk about effective communication, it's very necessary from a parent to child and all that. And even in our different stages in relationships, you have friendships, you have all that. And so what are the effective communication strategies?
Again, number one is active listening. That the reason why God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth is probably because we listen more than we speak.
Yeah.
But at times, as individuals, as parents, and as teenagers, we find ourselves speaking more than we listen. And people don't want to hear from you unless they know you can listen from them. People don't want to hear from you unless they know you want to listen from them. Yeah. And number one thing for both parents and both teenagers is to be an active listener. An active listener is communicating that I am listening. You see the way you are nodding, the more you're looking at me, the way you're paying attention, that is active listening. Yeah. But as a parent, as a teenager, if your parent is talking to you as a teenager and you're on the phone, alafu naambia mom sio ongea tunasikia, you are not listening.
True.
And as a parent, when your kid is talking to you and you are there on your phone or you are cooking and you say, women can multitask. Communication does not want multitasking. It wants the whole of you in that conversation. So number one, actively listening. And number two is listening to the meaning beyond the message. A kid can tell you that, Mom, I am feeling bad. It is your role to understand what does feeling bad mean. Because at times when they're growing up, they're limited in language and they're not able to express more feelings. So they could be saying, you know what, Mom, I am hurt, I am angry, I am sad, I am all that. But then they say, I am feeling bad. So get to know what the feeling, get to know the meaning of the message. Yeah. And one way to know the meaning of the message is when you reflect it back. So if you tell me, you're feeling bad, I say, Gracie, what does it mean to feel bad? Because probably I told you, don't watch TV. And say, Mom, I'm feeling bad. And I'll ask you, what does feeling bad mean? I feel like you don't like me watching TV. Is it that so every other time? No, but Mom. So you're not just taking what they have said on the face value and telling them they are throwing tantrums. So getting to listen to the feeling, the meaning beyond the message. Because at times people say what they don't mean and they mean what they don't say.
That's very true.
So someone can say, can we go out for lunch? Sure. They're not even interested in that lunch. Yeah. But then just because sure is the correct and
most accurate what the person wants to hear.
Yes, you tell them. So being able to actively listen to meaning
Yeah.
in the message. But even number 3 is seeking to understand, empathic listening, where you put yourself in the shoes of your son, your daughter, and probably as a daughter, put yourself in the shoes of your mom. And you can, if mom is telling you, probably we cannot be able to do a very elaborate birthday party this on the 7th of April, which is my birthday. You should ask mom, mbona? And they were like, unajua last time tumekuchange shule and it took a lot of our money.
Yeah.
So we don't really have money for now, but we shall do something for you when things get better. You know, as a kid, as a teenager, you have put yourself in your parents' shoe. But even so, as a parent, put yourself in your teenager's shoe. If they tell you we want to go to Carrefour and just hang out after church, get to understand what does that mean to them. Wewe unaona wanaenda mrando na kuzurura, but for them they are going to connect and feel like they have freedom and choice. Una feel mnaenda kuzurura, mnaenda kutafuta madem. Probably wanaenda kutafuta madem. But they want to just go out and it's just out and feeling free and being able to just nini. So get to put yourself in their shoe. And also look at yourself when you are that age.
Yes.
How did it feel when you are told
Yes.
don't go out? So when you put yourself in their shoe, then you're able to guide them. Tell them, endeni, lakini mnaenda na nani? Tunaenda na Ian, tunaenda na Julius, tunaenda na Tracy. Oh, who are these guys? Ni wasawa fiti ama ni wasawa baya? Oh, hawa wako sawa. Sawa. Lakini 6:30 iwapate mkiwa wapi? Mmerudi. So you have put yourself in their shoes and they have also understood why are you telling them to come by 6:30. Probably tell them about the danger, the insecurity. You don't say kuna abductions and all that. Let them know that the reason why you're saying. So putting yourself in their shoe. I feel that those 3 items are probably even before you open your mouth, they are the bedrocks of communication.
That is so true. That is so true. And also like delving into how we parents, you've just talked about it slightly while you were just explaining. How can we parents like actively listen to our kids? And what you have explained, and maybe you can add on it so that like me as a parent, I feel like I'm the senior here. Not all that I can listen, but I am making choices on their behalf. How can I actively listen and also like incorporate what they are saying and make a choice that is fair for both of us?
I feel number 1 is approach the whole thing about you and your teenager as a teamwork. And when you understand that this is a team and my kid is a player and I'm also a player in this team, then if they don't pass, give me a through pass, for instance, if it's football, then I'll not be able to score. If I don't create chances for them, they'll not be able to score. So that brings in the collaborative approach. That then there is something my kid can tell me, my teen can tell me, and it will make a lot of sense. But if I stay on the aspect that I am the know-it-all, mean your coach, and you just listen. If I say shoot, shoot. If I say stop, then that may not really help. So you being able to bring the approach of collaboration. But number 2 is the aspect of eye to eye, one-on-one conversation. True. And how do you one-on-one conversation? You do one-on-one conversations when you are creating time. I know parents talk to their kids on their phones and everything. They chat through WhatsApp and everything. But it is important as well to be able to have sit-downs. And one way to do that is, I suggest, if you can't do the morning round is where before you go to work, all of you sit on the breakfast table, have the conversation. Ask Jayden, what is your day looking up like? I'm like, oh, today I am going to a workshop, the ex-candidate workshop, and then I will hang out with my friends in the mall and then get to understand. In the evening when you come, have an evening round. How was your day? How did the ex-can workshop go? How was it in the mall? Anything that you fancied? How are your friends? And even as a parent, you're telling them, this is how my day went. I met that client. It was frustrating. We were not able to seal the deal, but I am okay. I know God will give us another opportunity. So create time intentionally to have conversations with your kids. And for those that don't know where to start, I'm putting up cards and probably you may order them later to help you start this conversation with your teenagers. And I know it will open up to the many and the depth of things that your kid has covered up over time.
Wow. You gave an example of a kid, like a parent tells a kid, Stanley, don't watch TV. And then they come back and say, I feel bad. There's some kids who won't say, I feel bad. They just act and just keep quiet and say, what mom says is what I do. Like they just follow what you're doing. And in this, it creates some kind of conflict. And now it blocks that that way or that gate where they had an open conversation, and then the kid feels like, if mom restricts me to this and even cannot communicate, why shouldn't I watch TV? Is it that I have not done my homework? Is it that I have not done this and that that she ordered? Why is she telling me not to watch TV? So it creates some kind of conflicts even between the child and the parent. Now, to bring all this to now conflict resolution and family bonding. Yeah.
One is not all conflicts are to be resolved. Yeah, don't. One of my great friends says that if it's not broken, don't mend it. So there are conflicts like alikataa kunywa chai alafu kaeka hapo chai alafu ikakaa. You don't have to insist wakunywe hiyo chai. Njaa itawapeleka wakunywe chai. So some conflicts are better unresolved. But then number 2 is don't shy away from conflict. Conflict is evidence that we are interacting. That the reason why we have friction is because another object is interacting with another object. If the tire does not interact with the tarmac, then we cannot have wear and tear.
That is
so conflict is a sign that you're having interactions. But then the thing here is, how do you handle this? So one is, again, seek to understand. Let your kid listen in. And then number 2, don't hold headlines. Are we able to give away our headlines, our irreducible minimums? Can we allow someone to win so that we can all win? That it can, there is the lose-lose kind of opportunity in conflict resolution. There is the win-loss. There is the win-win, and win-win does not. Win-win is the most amiable, where probably we have not gone someone's way or the other way, or all of us have won. And at times, all of us winning may demand one of us to lose. But all of us have won.
Yes.
That at times, allowing the kids to go out with the friends may look like you have lost as a parent, but you have won because it has built the relationship. And at times, when your kid, you tell them, no, you're not going out and you're studying, probably it means that they have lost, but you have won together because they will be better in the academia. So look at the conflict resolution styles that are there. There's the win-win, win-loss, loss-loss, and all that, which is very bad, that let's all lose ourselves. Ni kama ile siblings when they are fighting for tea. So wanasema, basi tumwage hii chai wote tukue hasara.
Mama anakuja sema, hakuna mtu anakunywa chai.
Hakuna mtu anakunywa
chai. And you're grounded.
All of you are grounded. Go to your rooms.
Yes.
But some don't have rooms to go to, so they just stay on the sofa set. Yeah, so getting to really communicate and all that, and also explain why. Don't just tell them, this is nimesema na nimesema. Au pia wanasema ati wewe ndio kusema. Tunajua wewe ndio kusema, wewe ndio mkubwa. Lakini mom, tunaweza ongea. Can we agree? Can we talk about it?
A question that would be like really disturbing that kid in their mind is, don't I have freedom of speech? I have the freedom to even speak a word in this house. But they'll be like, dad is the superior, he's there, mom is here, and I'm here.
Mom is the boss.
Exactly.
Dad is the boss. Mom is the executive assistant. And then we are here as employees in this company.
That is so true. And we are like acting upon whatever they say. This is my JD as a child. And within this jurisdiction, like I cannot move out from this. So.
And and this is not, you're not saying that you become so lenient so that you are not an authority. It is very great to be an authority. Kids love authority. They love order. They love curfew. That shows respect. Love. That shows that you like them. By the way, watoto wanaachiliwangwa tu waende watembee kama nini dogi mwitu. Like they don't feel loved, honestly. Ati unaachiliwa tu Julius, haujui utarudi saa ngapi, shosha ulizi kitu, hakuna kitu na nini, that you will feel like, kwani mimi nilizaliwa ama niliachiliwa? But when they feel like kuna hizo order, kuna boundaries, they feel mom loves me, that's why he gives this order. But again, when they feel that their oxygen is being so cringed, they can't make something on themselves, they feel like, why am I even living when I can't even think on myself? Hata nguo ya kuvaa lazima niambiwe, toa hiyo skirt ya pink, vaa ya red.
I can't make my own choice. And now, do you think that family bonding now has created like room for conflict? lack
family.
of enough like family.
Yes, lack of, and again, the build of relationship is time. If you're not forming more time, how do you
Creating
understand?
time, yeah.
I want you to put this like in your friends that you don't talk to oftenly.
Yeah.
Kuna ule beshte usipoongea naye 2 days, mukicatch up haujui hata alikuwa wapi. There are people that their life there is lots of things that are
That's so
happening
true.
that wasipokuambia leo nimekunywa chai nini and all that, by jioni you feel like you are so distant.
Yeah.
So it's even with your kid. I have handled cases where the parent feels I don't understand my kid anymore. And I ask them from what age? They're like, I think we lost touch at age 8 and now they are 16. 8 years of no touch. Why? We didn't create more time.
Yeah.
So creating more time would help you being able to bond. Have some days out. Play some indoor games.
Some off days for your child.
Just like it's never that serious. It's never do and die. Siku moja always kosa kuingiza hiyo mita juu siku moja tu umekaa home.
Hata your picnic, just like a small thing to make the child feel like they are loved, cared for.
Yes.
My parent is here for me. Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be expensive. Enda hapo Udhiru pale kwa roundabout. Mkae chini. Mpige
Na
story.
bouncing castle hapo,
Bounce castle. Pia wewe uta
eh.
feel free and all that. But again, when you have money for Carrefour and Garden City, go do the garden.
Why not?
Why not? It is totally okay. But then be intentional on creating time and just being with them. And even at supper time, create time. Gadgets aside. Let's have dinner. Let's enjoy. How was your day? Let's play cards. On holidays, be in the house. Sio ndio time sasa unataka kwenda kutembelea relatives. Hata hawajakuambia unataka kwenda kuona relatives. Kwa like kuna auntie yenu alimuru. Stop. Just
Wanakuwa
be there.
so rigid even to go and see their parents, cause their relatives, because they feel like, no, I really need time with you, Dad.
Yes.
I need to tell you what's new that's happening in my life. What are the changes? Even before we wrap up the conflict resolution, that segment, and I'd love you to just give us some few things that healthy tips of how we can solve conflicts at home. Yeah.
And as I've said, conflict is imminent. Like it will happen. So long as there's interactions, it will honestly happen every other time. But then conflict is also an opportunity. It's a pedestal for you as a parent to bond more.
Yeah.
Like it is an opportunity to understand what causes conflict every other time.
Sure.
And if it is happening, then how can we handle this? Is it a recurrent conflict or it's a one-time conflict? One-time conflict can be like you give them 1,000 bob, they spend 1,500, now they are coming with your phone ikiwa na fuliza. That's a one-time problem. But then if they have done this consistently, then they know you may want to train them. So one is train them even on conflict resolution, because it's not even just happening at home. It will happen in school, it will happen elsewhere. You don't want to hear that your kid's jaw was broken because they were fighting with some huge guy out there. And so train them, but also be willing to empathize, listen in, and say even sorry. And I know this is huge for a parent to say, you know what, Gracie, I wronged you. Sorry.
I'm sorry.
Wazazi hujitetea. Like African
Go
parents.
around the bush and make it so anonymous. You won't even know they're saying sorry.
Uko like, the reason why sikununulia shati ni because uliamka exam. But mom, niliamka exam juu hamukulipa fee mapema. Nilikosa kulipa fee juu holiday. Nilisema uoshe vyombo na hukuosha. Uko like vyombo na fee. Where's the correlation?
Yeah.
It is okay to say that, you know what, I am sorry.
Yeah.
And being sorry does not mean you are weak. It doesn't show. And I'm not saying the extremities of it's you always apologizing to your kid. Let them also know they should also apologize.
Yeah.
And I've said kids learn by modeling. In the couple system, you and your spouse, do you even have time to say, you know what, I'm sorry? Kuna time mnapelekana na your spouse.
And your child is there watching.
Yeah, the kid is watching. And at times you want kids to pick sides. That is so bad. Don't triangulize them. Handle the things in your couple system. And if they are, they are aware, apologize. Kama ulimkelelesha during a dinner time. Come apologize during dinner time. Say what, you know what, guys, as the dad of this house, mlijua juzi tumesumbuana na mom juu chumvi ilikuwa mob kwa mboga. So my lovely whatever, I am sorry that this happened. And I think surely I didn't have to react that way.
Yes.
Chumvi by the way, tungeongeza tu maji na tu dilute, it would be better.
Yeah.
So And when they know that, hata wao watakuwa wa kwanza. When they do something like, Mom, I'm sorry I came home late. I know I should be here by 6:30, but kulikuwa na traffic Ngong Road. Kulikuwa na traffic Waiyaki Way, and I'm here late. Mom, I'm sorry. And you're already modeling up a space where we can apologize before we are caught.
That's so true.
And when kids know that they can come to you and tell you what they did
Before
before you burst out, then you know that, because if they don't have such a space, they will keep piling up. They will put up a facade. And I have said here before, kama msa ameanza kuvuta bangi, akijua nikiambia madhe atanitoanisha, hayo mse ujipanga. Ukimuita Luther, anatulia kiasi. Hiyo time anatulia ni kujipanga. Anachukua mabig G, anatafuna manjugu, marashi, ndio akuwe clean. Na akitokea hautajua.
Sure.
But when they have modeled such a thing, they're like, hey mom, I was pressured, I was cornered, and najua bangi you take 7 years kwa mwili ya mse, lakini nilipiga kapafu kamoja tu. Hope ita take long. Yeah. Na sitarudia. And then you're like, okay, what happened? On mabeshte wangu walini pressure, I was under pressure. And with that, when they know they can confide in you, then they don't need to hide stuff from you. And that will help you to solve so many conflicts that come up.
Okay, that's so true. That's so true. When you're talking to a teenager nowadays, they tell you, why don't you tell your mom? She's not understanding. Why don't you try your dad? My dad is even worse. He doesn't even have time for me. And so coming to, how can we build a culture of respect and understanding? Because we need to, yes, listen to our kids. We as parents, maybe, for example, we as parents,
Okay,
we want to embrace like now the reflective parenting and all that. And you told us it's about intentionality and also creating time and also continuous learning. How can we build a culture of understanding between us and our children and our kids, and also a culture of respect? Like I respect you as my child, and you as my child, you respect me as your parent.
Good, model that. If you want to model respect, if you want them to be respectful, model that. In the couple system, if you're married, let your kid know that I respect my husband, I respect my wife.
Yeah.
And respect even other people. Respect your plot mates. And even when you're driving on the road, have you seen guys driving on the road and they're like hooting, ba ba ba, and then you're like, umsana kuangaje? Awas wanduthi hawa na kuangaje? Na hiyo time ukiwa kwa nduthi ndio unaambia pita hapo katikati.
Exactly.
And your kid feels that you're very chaotic.
Yeah.
And then you're telling them to be respectful. But they have learned you're not respecting other people. So model that at home. But also a culture of understanding. Model a safe space. Be vulnerable as well. When you had a hard day, tell them, hey, Jaden, I had a hard day. I would want us to talk, but allow me go to my room, refresh, and I'll be back. So that they know. Mom is respectful to dad. Dad is respectful to other friends and around that. So I can be also respectful in my house, in our house, and be able to speak with my parents in a very safe space without feeling judged.
Yeah. Wow, that is strengthening parent-child relationships.